Very good morning, dear students. So, we have already started unit number 2 of the paper Biochemistry for Microbiology. And in the last class, we have discussed what is the relevance of biochemistry, and why do you want to study biochemistry for microbiology, and what are the major biomolecules, and among these biomolecules how carbohydrates are very important. And in this unit we are going to discuss the detailed aspects of carbohydrate and this biochemistry aspects for microbiology application. So we are going to discuss various types of carbohydrate and their properties, their structure, and their biological function. And in this class we are going to discuss the important class of carbohydrate called monosaccharides. Okay, we are going to discuss the importance of monosaccharides and some of the basic aspects and their properties. And as you all know, the overview or introduction of carbohydrates, as we have discussed, carbohydrates are sugars. They are known as the staff of the life. Why these are known as staff of the life? Because of various reasons. And these molecules are the most abundant class of biomolecules in the nature. And generally, these compounds are having small molecular weight and they are sweet in taste. Okay, and they are indispensable for living organisms, which are serve as skeletal structures for plants, insects, and the crustaceans. In their structure, this act as the major important part. And in some plants and animals, this act as the major food reservoirs. Okay, in the animal, this happened in the liver and the muscles. And these carbohydrates are the major source of energy that is required for various metabolic activity of the organism, and they provide the lubricant property to the skeletal joints. That is why we are able to move our hand, because of this lubricant properties, and to provide adhesion between cells and to confer biological specificity to the surface of animal cells. And the plants are rich in carbohydrate in comparison with the animals. Okay, plants are rich in carbohydrates in comparison with the animals. And these carbohydrates are generally classified into 3 groups. One is monosaccharides. They are simple sugar. So as we have discussed, these carbohydrates are the simplest form of sugars. It consisting of only one monomeric unit. Such kind of carbohydrates are known as monosaccharides. The next one, oligosaccharides. So if the carbohydrate consisting of more than 2 types of carbohydrate, 2 or more types of carbohydrate till 9, okay, 2 to 9 monomeric unit of carbohydrate. And if consisting of 2 monomeric unit, that is known as disaccharides, 3 that is trisaccharides, 4 that is tetrasaccharide, 5 that is pentasaccharides, 6 that is hexasaccharide, 7 that is hepta, and 8 that is octa, and 9 that is nonna. Okay, so these are the different types of carbohydrates. Then the next one is polysaccharides. They are consisting of long chain residues more than 9 monomeric unit, and they are long chain polysaccharide. So if they are made up of only one type of monomeric unit, that is known as homopolysaccharides, and if they are made up of different monomeric subunit, such kind of saccharides are known as heteropolysaccharides. So these are the overview of the classification of carbohydrate. Okay. Then the next one is we are going to discuss monosaccharides. So monosaccharides are otherwise known as monosaccharose. Okay, these are simple sugars. They structurally possess a free aldehyde group, a CHO group, and a ketone group, C double bond O group, and two or more hydroxyl group. So all monosaccharide has an aldehyde group, a ketone group, and a hydroxyl or a OH group. And these are the simplest sugars. They are not able to hydrolyze or cleaved into further subunit. The general formula of this particular monosaccharides are CnH2O raised to N or CnH2nOn. Okay, where N is the number of elements. Then the classification of monosaccharides. So the monosaccharides are classified mainly based on three aspects. Number one, the monosaccharides are classified based on the number of carbon atom. Then that is classified as triose. If they have 3 carbon residues, that is known as triose. Tetrose, if the sugar consisting of 4 carbon residues, okay, that is known as tetrose. Pentose, okay, if they have 5 carbon sugar in their backbone, that is known as pentose. Hexose, that is they have a 6 carbon residue, that is hexose. Then heptose, they have a 7 carbon residues. Okay, this is one classification. This classification is based on the number of carbon atom. Then the next one is the classification is based on whether they contain or aldehyde or a keto groups. So if they contain aldehyde group, that such a kind of carbohydrates are known as aldoses, and if they contains mainly a ketonic group, such a kind of things sugars are known as ketoses. Then the third classification is based on the number of carbon atom and the nature of functional group, combination of both the things. Okay, then we will be able to combine aldotriose. Here aldo means it consisting of mainly aldehyde group, trio means it's consisting of 3 carbon component. So example glycerose, then ketopentose. Okay, so ketopentose are it is the consisting of CO group, okay, keto group, and pentose, it consisting of 5 main carbon atom. Example ribulose. The next one is aldohexose. Okay, so it is it consisting of an aldehyde group, and it has a 6 carbon atom. Here you can see glyceraldehyde. Okay, that 3 carbon common, carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. It is an example of a glycerose, is an example of a aldotriose. Okay, then similarly dihydroxyacetone, this is a aldoketose. Okay, this is aldotriose, this is ketotriose. Similarly D-glucose, here you can see an aldehyde group. Okay, or then you can see that is aldohexose. Then the same molecule, if they have a ketone group, then that is fructose, that is known as a ketohexose. Okay, then similarly aldopentose. Okay, this consisting of 5 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon component, and they are having an aldehyde group. So that is a aldopentose. Why it is pentose? Because 5 carbon component. Why it is hexose? This is 6 carbon component. The next one is 2-hydroxy D-ribose. Here you can see there is a keto group. Okay, this is aldo. This is also aldopentoses. Okay, so these are the major types of classification of carbohydrate, especially monosaccharide. This is what I told you. The name is triose, the aldose is glycerols, and ketone is a dihydroxyacetone, that is keto sugar. This is known as aldo sugars. Then tetrose, that is erythrose, and erythrulose is the ketose. Then pentose, that is ribose, and the keto form is ribulose. Okay. Okay, hexose. Okay, here it is C6H12O6, 6 carbon atom. So glucose and fructose. Okay, so heptoses are C17, C7H14O7, that is glucoheptose, and acedoheptulose is the keto form. So these are the classification of monosaccharides. So this is what I told the structure. This is a 3 carbon compound, 1, 2, 3. That is the 3 carbon compound, that is glycerose or glyceraldehyde. 4 carbon compound, erythrulose and trehalose. 5 carbon component, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and ribose and arabinose, xylose and lysose. Okay, and 6 carbon component, deallose, dealtrose, glucose, mannose, glucose, okay, iodose, okay, galactose and talose. Okay, and here you can see this carbon, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is 6 carbon component, and in all the structure this particular carbon is known as a chiral carbon atom. Okay, so that means the chiral carbon atom or asymmetry carbon atom is the carbon atom whose valencies are satisfied by 4 different groups or atoms. So here you see this particular carbon, this is the first valency, this is aldehyde group, second valency hydroxyl group, third valency CH2OH group, and the fourth valency H. Okay, so that means to say all the valencies are satisfied by different groups of atoms or ions. That is known as a 3 carbon component. So here you see erythrose. Okay, so this is the 2 asymmetric carbon, this one and this one. According to this one, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth group is this one. Okay, according to this one, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth group is this one, and so on. Okay, and this particular carbon atom is known as a asymmetric carbon atom or anomeric carbon atom. Okay, here in the case of 5 carbon components, there are 3 asymmetric carbon atom. In the case of 6 carbon component, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3 asymmetric carbon atom or chiral carbon atom. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is very, very important. So that is the important speciality of this monosaccharide, the chirality, okay, or asymmetric carbon atom. Then this is ketones. Here you can see the 3 carbon, okay, dihydroxyacetone. Okay, this is the 4 carbon deerythrulose. Then this is 5 carbon deribulose, and this is or xylulose. 6 carbon psychose or fructose, and sorbose and tagatose. Okay, and here also you can see the anomeric carbon atom or chiral carbon atom. Then next one mentioned in the syllabus, next topic mentioned in our syllabus is the stereoisomerism and optical activity observed in the monosaccharide. So the term isomer, okay, isomer means, iso means equal, meros means part, okay, equal part. This is first applied by John Jacob Berzelius in 1827. So what do you mean by isomers? Okay, isomers are the compounds with the same molecular formula and their properties. Okay, same molecular formula and their properties. Okay, then the presence of an asymmetric carbon, as I showed here, this is the main reason for the isomerism. Okay, the presence of asymmetric carbon atom in the carbohydrate make it possible for the formation of a isomeric form. And there are 2 types of isomeric form. One is structural isomerism. Next one is stereoisomerism. So the compound that undergoes structural isomerism is known as structural isomers, and the compound that act against stereoisomerism are known as stereoisomers. So structural isomers have the same molecular formula, but they possess different structures. Okay, there are 3 types. One is chain isomerism, positional isomerism, functional group isomerism. So if the difference is in the structure may be exhibited either in the chain of carbon, okay, then that is known as a chain isomer. The difference is due to the length of the carbon atom, that is known as chain isomerism. If the difference is the position of a substituent group, that is positional isomerism. So if the difference is the functional group, that is the known as functional isomerism. And the stereoisomers we are going to discuss the details about stereoisomers. The stereoisomers are a same that has the compounds with the same molecular formula and the same structure, but the different in their spatial configuration. Arrangement is different. Same molecular formula, same structural formula, but their arrangement is different. So there are two types. One is known as geometrical isomerism, and next one is a optical isomerism. Okay, so geometrical isomerism is known as that cis-trans isomerism. Cis means the same, trans means across. Okay, the isomers either from a peculiar geometry of the compounds having double bonded within the carbon atom. So the typical example is maleic acid and fumaric acid. Maleic acid is a 6 carbon component. This you can see. Maleic acid is the main cis form, and here you can see carbon double bond carbon. So what you can see here, the carboxylic acid group, the COOH group here and the COOH group here, they are in the same side. Okay, and similarly the H and H are the same side. That is known as cis form. Okay. Then fumaric acid is a trans form. Here you can see COOH group here and the just opposite the trans direction. Okay, COOH group here, and similarly H and H that is known as trans form. And optical isomers are known as the enantiomers. Okay, they are different from each other, and the disposition of various atoms or groups in the space, around the asymmetric carbon atom. So mainly due to the asymmetric carbon atom, they are mirror images opposite in the geometry. Okay, so they are linked to left and right handed gloves. Okay, so here you can see a glyceraldehyde. Okay, here you can see C1, 2, 3. This is 3 carbon component, that is glycerose. Okay, and here is 1 carbon atom. This is the carbon that has 4 different valencies. Okay, are known as this. The first one, this is not known as the anomeric carbon atom. This is the anomeric carbon atom. This is the end we never consider as anomeric carbon. In between these two ends, there is only one. Okay, according to this carbon, one group, second group, third group, and fourth group. Okay, here this particular, you can see this is the OH is in the right side, and such kind of things are known as the D variety. Okay, the hydroxyl groups are right side and H is in the left side, that is known as D variety. And here you see the just opposite. In the second case, in the case of the keto form, here you can see the OH is in the left hand side and H is in the right hand side. So just opposite. This is just mirror images of this. Here it is right, here it is left, here it is left, here it is right. Okay, only these particular things are the different. There is no other difference in any of the structures. That is what I told you. They are different only in the anomeric carbon atom. So such kind of components are known as the enantiomers. Okay, so that is what I told you. One form, the H at the carbon number second position, and that is in the hydroxyl group in the right hand side. Okay, that is known as a D variety, and the other thing, the hydroxyl groups are in the left side and H is in the right side. That is known as a L variety. Okay, so that is D form and L form. A compound that has in 2 asymmetric carbon atom. Okay, so that means to say might exist in the 4 optimal isomeric form. So definitely, how many D forms? So one particular molecule, this number of asymmetric carbon atom, it has a very, very important role. How many different conformation they can exist. Okay, that will tell you one important rule called 2:n rule. That is known as a D belt 1/2 rule. Okay, or rule that this rule is known as a 2:n rule. Okay, D belt 1/2 rule. Okay, so what is D belt 1/2 rule? The number of possible isomers of any monosaccharides depend on the number of asymmetric carbon present in this molecule. Okay, what is the possible number of conformation? It's possible that depending upon the number of asymmetric carbon atom that is present in this molecule. So the total number of optical isomers of a component will be equal to that of 2:n, where n is the number of asymmetric carbon atom. So in this particular case, only one asymmetric carbon atom is there. So it can exist 2 form, one L form and one D form. Okay. Similarly, in this particular case, they are having two asymmetric carbon, so they can exist four form 2 raised to n, where n is 4, n is 2. Okay, 2 raised to 2 is 4. Out of 4, 2D variety and 2L variety. What about fructose? Okay, here it is 3 asymmetric carbon atom is there, chiral carbon atom is there, and 2 raised to 3. That will be 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. That is 8. Okay, so 8 that is 8. Out of 8, 4 will be D variety and 4 will be L variety. In the case of glucose, here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I told you end cannot be the chiral carbon atom. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many molecules? So here the glucose, how many asymmetric carbon atom? That is 4. Okay, so 4 into 2 raised to n. N is 4. Okay, 2 raised to 4. That is 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. That is 2 into 2 8. 8 into 2 16. Okay, so out of this 16, how many? 8 will be D variety and 8 will be L variety. And this is very, very important. So that is known as a D belt 1/2 rule or 2 raised to n rule. Okay, and in the case of a sugar with 2 or more asymmetric carbon, the designation of D and L depending upon the orientation of the H and OH group. Okay, this is what I told. Okay, and the distribution of H and OH group will not be having any relevance in this particular case. Okay, and the majority of the monosaccharides found in the human body are D variety, and some sugars that do not naturally have their L variety, such as L-arabinose, pentoaldoses. So pentoaldoses that do not occur naturally in their L form. Okay, so that is important thing. Then another important, two important components are epimers and enantiomers. Okay, so epimers, they are interesting thing. If any two sugars which are different only in their configuration around a single asymmetric carbon atom is known as epimers. Okay, any two sugars which are different each other only in their configuration around the single chiral carbon atom other than the carbonyl carbon. Okay, example glucose and galactose. Here you can see CHOC, HOOH, OHC, HOOH, HOOH and CH2OH. This is a structure of D-glucose. Why it is D-glucose? Because the OH side is in the in the left hand side. In this case of the OH side, OH group in the right hand side in the case of a chiral carbon atom. Okay, and why it is this is D? Galactose. Okay, so here you can see. Here you can see. Here you can see what why it is D, because these two are on the right hand side, these two are on the right hand side. Okay, here you can see this, the difference is only in this particular portion. Here the OH, instead of OH this is H. Here that is instead of H that is OH. Only that is the difference. That's what I told you. There is no other change in this particular structure. So what is the thing? Only change in the asymmetric carbon atom. So that is the importance of such kind of components are known as epimers. Okay, next one is enantiomers. Okay, then enantiomers are 2D and L forms of a component constitute a pair of enantiomers. So both the D and L variety of components are known as enantiomers or enantiomers. Okay, enantio means opposite. Okay, so D glucose and L glucose. Okay, D galactose and L galactose, all the things are enantiomers. So the enantiomers, otherwise known as optical isomers or double image isomers. So double image isomers are enantiomers. Okay, which are non-superimposable mirror images. Okay, they are not superimposed mirror images. So they are non-superimposed mirror images. Okay, then for each other, but they are chemically identical structure. And these components are, they agree, they are the same in their melting point, solubility, but they differ the ability to rotate in the plane polarized light in the presence of a polarimeter. If you keep this particular molecule, okay, their melting point is the same, solubility is the same, but they different their ability to rotate in the plane polarized light. Okay, and a solution of these two enantiomers rotate to the plane polarized light. One will be towards the right and another will be towards the left. Okay, and these are known as that is a conversion of the glyceros into aldotetros yield D-erythros and D-triosus. Okay, and this property is known as a diastereoisomers. These are diastereoisomers. Okay, so here the epimers, and they are not mirror images of each other. Okay, so enantiomers are, they are not mirror images of each other. Okay, and the next one is the optical isomerism. Okay, optical isomerism. I told you the major reason for optical isomerism is the asymmetric carbon atom in the this carbon that is present in the monosaccharide. Okay, so what will happen? We will explain in detail. Okay, so when a beam of a polarized light pass through an optically active solution of monosaccharide, it may be absorb the beam and they will be rotate right hand side or left hand side. Okay, depending upon the type of optical isomers. Okay, so some components will be rotated with respect to the plane polarized light towards the right, and they are known as dextro-rotatory or clockwise, and it is designated as plus type or D types. Okay, when a beam of light passed through a monosaccharide solution, some of the molecule components that will be absorb the light and they will be rotate towards the right, and that is known as dextro-rotatory or clockwise, and that is known as D variety. Similarly, when a beam of polarized light passed through an optically active solution of monosaccharides, so some molecule will be rotated at the left hand side with respect to the polarized light. Okay, and that is known as levo. Levo means left or left side. Dextro means right. Okay, so that is, and or anti-clockwise direction denoted as L or minus type. So this is known as D variety and L variety. The varieties are mainly with respect to the plane polarized light. Okay, and the direction in which the light is rotated, that is known as optical rotation or specific rotation of the molecule. Okay, and the optical rotation is not related with the 2D and the L form of the component. Okay, and the D glucose is dextro-rotatory, but D fructose, okay, that is L type, that is known as a levo-rotatory. Okay, so when an equal volume of equal amount of extra rotatory and dextro-rotatory, this is dextro, not extro, dextro-rotatory and levo-rotatory elements are present. Okay, the resulting mixture will be optically inactive. Okay, equal amount of both D variety or L variety, if it is present, there optically, when they come contact, when they come together, that will be going to be, they will be optically inactive. Okay, because opposite the opposite optical activities, they come closer and they'll cancel their isomeric property, and such a kind of mixture is known as a racemic mixture or a DL mixture. Okay, racemic mixture or DL mixture, a mixture consisting of both D and L variety, they are optically inactive, is known as a racemic mixture. And the process of converting an optically active component into racemic modification is known as a racemization. Okay, the process of converting an optically active component into an optically inactive component is known as a racemization. And generally the monosaccharides are active except aldo, bios and the keto trios. Okay, then because they don't have a they contain only one since they contain one or more asymmetric carbon atom in their molecule. And another important property, so when a monosaccharide is dissolved in water, okay, that is known as a muta-rotation or multi-rotation or a bi-rotation or a, all those properties. So what is this? When a monosaccharide is dissolved in water, the optical rotatory power of the solution gradually changes until it reaches a constant value. So, and this particular property is known as a muta-rotation. A freshly prepared solution of alpha D glucose has a specific rotation of plus 112.1 degree. But when this particular solution allowed to stand, the rotation, they will be rotating and rotation falls down to 52.8 degree and remains constant at this particular point. Okay, and this gradual change is the specific rotation is known as muta rotation or changing rotation or multi rotation or bi rotation. The gradual change in the specific rotation is known as muta rotation. And the discovery of this phenomenon by way of change in the optical rotation in certain carbohydrate plays a very vital role. And the value of muta rotation, that is alpha D glucose 112 minus 52.8, that is 59.5. Okay, the value for a muta rotation for alpha D glucose is a 11, because 112 is the actual specific rotatory power. When it keep it for a very long time, it will decreases to 52.7. Then what is ultimate muta rotation? That is 50 plus 59.5. And all reducing sugars undergo muta rotation. The muta rotation is due to the change in the alpha to beta form. Okay, the muta rotation is mainly due to the alpha to beta form depending upon the ability of the monosaccharides. Okay, and this is what I told you. Okay, this is the optical rotation, and here it is the time. Okay, initially the alpha D glucose, the 112 is the optical rotatory. When it start when it is the solution is allowed to stand, what will happen? The specific rotatory power will be they will be coming down, finally it will reaches to 52.7. okay, this is the 52.7. okay, this is known as alpha D glucose. And what about beta? The specific rotatory power, it will be from 18.7, and when we are mixing together, when you are allowed to stand this beta D glucose, then the specific rotatory power gradually increases and that reaches to 52.7, and from here it will go together. Okay, so that is what when the alpha D glucose, it will gradually decrease and reaches to 52.7. But in the case of beta D glucose, the original optical rotatory power is 18.7 and it is increases and reaches to the 52.7. okay, so this is very, very important. So this is all about muta rotation. So this, dear student, with this will class, okay, will complete. So this is all about this today's class. So once again we can conclude the topic whatever we have discussed. Today we have discussed the overview of carbohydrate, the monosaccharides. Okay, we have discussed the overview of carbohydrate and the classification monosaccharide, disaccharide and polysaccharides. Then we have discussed about monosaccharides, the classification of monosaccharides, stereoisomerism and optical activity of monosaccharides. What is stereoisomerism? What is their types? The optical isomers, they are known as enantiomers. Okay, then example also you should study. Then Lie-Belt one half rules. Okay, or rule of this 2 raised to n rule. Then epimers and enantiomers. Okay, then the optical isomerism and muta rotation. So this many things we have discussed in this particular class. So these are the main textbook, dear students. Okay, 3 important textbook. Among these, Principles of Biochemistry by Leninger. This is very, very important. This is the all the concepts which I have taken. It is there. Then similarly, all this textbook also we can refer. And these are the reference book, and all the books are available in our library. Okay, you can have a look into it, or you can, that is freely available in the online bookshelf. Okay, so thank you for listening to this particular class. If you are having any clarification, you can ask me. Okay, have a great time. Take care.